Welcome back to the channel, everybody. So we have hit 10,000 subscribers, and I thought this would be a great opportunity to kind of show you a little bit about how the videos are made. What does it actually take to produce a rockhounding adventure video? Kind of the steps and the process that I go through. I mean, you typically only see the end result. You don't see all of the things that potentially lead up to it. I have some ideas for where we want to go today, and some material that I would like to collect. And I have already in my mind, right, I've already built the video in my head. I've already planned out the things that I want to say. I have an idea up here. I've already written it and played through it. We just got to go execute it. However, it doesn't always work out that way. And sometimes it becomes a total bust. Sometimes we have an alternative plan that we end up going with. We're going to be going over all of those things today. We're going to be doing a little bit of research. I'm going to show you the planning that I do on the computer, prepping our bags, prepping our stuff, getting the vehicle ready, all of those things for an area day trip that I think will be quite good if it all pans out. If it doesn't, well, it doesn't. That's the way it goes, right? So first up, out here in the shop, we are going to be doing some reading. I got some books here. I've already read them, but I'm going to show you what I'm kind of shooting for here, my plan. So here we have some good starting points. If you're not already aware, I live in Northeast Washington. We have some Washington literature here. I would really like to get some barrel in the collection. If you don't know what barrel is, it's going to be a little crystal. The stuff that's kind of a more low quality is going to be white, light green, light blue. If you get a very pure piece that's like entirely transparent, it would be aquamarine. Generally it's going to be tiny, like we're talking like, you know, 1/4 inch, 1/2 inch, size of a dime type material. I'm happy with that. Let's look at what some of these books have to say. I've already read through these. I kind of have some ideas on how I want to present a video. So in 2018, Lars put out Rockhounding Washington, and I've already so check this out. One thing I do is when I have an idea, I color code bookmarks, right? So we're looking at pinks today, and then if it pans out, I'll rip them out, you know, and we can start over. So there is an area near me called Winchester Creek, and you can see his photo of barrel right there. There's an area called Winchester Creek that there's very little information on, and I want to be able to produce a listing for this on my website. So I've read his listing, and there's some mistakes in it, and I'll address that here shortly. But this is his 2018 listing, Gem Trails of Washington. Also has a Winchester Creek listing, which, you know, he has his little map and stuff. And he also has some critical mistakes in this book. Well, where did they get their information? That's a good question. So we have 2018, 2014, going back to 2004, there is a blog post about this location. He likely found his information from Lenny's book, Gems and Minerals of Washington. There is a listing in here for this general area talking about barrel crystals and some of the vicinities in which you can find them, okay? Well, where did Lenny get his information? Lenny got his information from Minerals of Washington by Bart Cannon. Sorry, let me flip this guy open here. That's where he got his information, right? Bart has a number of listings for barrel broken down by county, right? Where did Bart get his information? There is, because what year did this come out? I forget. Yeah, this came out in 1975. He got a lot of his information from the DNR document Bulletin 37. They got a lot of their information from geologist field notebooks, along with some soil surveys and a number of other sources, so we can trace this back decades and decades. Now, we can read these listings and glean some information from them. You know, we know that the counties out here that we're going to be looking at, we have Stevens County, Spokane County, Ferry County, Pend Oreille. These are some of the areas. When we go over to the computer now, we can map some of this stuff out. One of the directions I would like to take this, right, because I've already done some of this research, is in these two books, they talk about no digging at Winchester Creek because the rangers have been known to issue tickets. Now, I know that is BS. How do I know this is BS? I've already done the research, and the actual GPS pin that these two books tell you to go to is not part of Colville National Forest. They say it is, okay? They say in here, let's see. You can't really dig at this site. Excuse me. You can't really dig at the site. It's in a road cut, and the Forest Service in these parts doesn't very much appreciate people digging into the road cut, especially knocking loose material onto the road. He got this information from this. He got this information from a blog post in the early 2000s. I know this is factually incorrect because it's not actually part of Colville National Forest. It is timber company land. I know this because I've already done the property record research, and they keep regurgitating this lie. Or it's a game of telephone, right? They keep regurgitating this. That's not to say that there's not beryl in that area, but we will go out there, we will confirm. The map shows that area checkerboarded like this, and we'll go look at that here shortly. I have some alternatives if Winchester Creek doesn't pan out for whatever reason. We went there about a month ago, and there's still snow on the road. So, you know, I have some alternatives already mapped out, and that's that. In this book here, sorry, it's allergy season. You know, they talk about a number of different places for beryl crystals. You know, we can hit up the Kalispell Peak, which that requires a four-wheel drive vehicle. You know, we can hit up Mount Spokane. We can look for some other places near Granite Peak. We have options. We have options, and if these don't work out, I have some alternatives and alternatives. So, cool. That's kind of the plan. We're heading, you know, if here's Spokane, we are heading up and east. So, on to the computer work. We're going to head up to the office now, and I'll show you what I got going on there. So, here you can see on the left side of your screen, this little town here. This is Chewelah, Washington. You can see it right here closer to the middle. I have pinned Winchester Creek, and off to the east is the Pend Oreille River. We have a couple of alternative routes to go. We can go through Chewelah and go up on this purple route that I have already plotted out. And then we also have this blue route. In the past, when we tried to make it up to Winchester Creek a little earlier in the year, this had like a foot of snow in shady spots, and so that was a no-go. We didn't make it, but maybe halfway up. Now, I think here you can really see the checkerboarded nature of this area, and how right here you can see the exact pin given for Winchester Creek, and it is outside of the National Forest boundary. So you can also click on a parcel, and we can see that it's a Stimson property. However, it is very close to the road, and depending on easement and right-of-way and stuff, we could also just maybe go there. This confirms what I already kind of knew and we talked about earlier, that the whole getting a ticket thing is both impossible because it is not actually within the boundaries of Colville National Forest. Therefore, the whole getting a ticket thing is not plausible. On top of that, Colville National Forest is about 1.1 million acres with between zero and limited enforcement of any type of rules or regulations. So this game of telephone hopefully stops here. So I would like to use that angle in the video. If Winchester Creek does not work out for whatever reason, we do have alternatives. But first, let's look at the bedrock layer here, and we will see what we can see with that, because I have a sneaking suspicion that there will be other places out here that we could potentially dig. And you can see that this big green spot here, this formation, it extends well into the national forest right here. And we click this, and we can see that it is that granodiorite, and we can see additional information about it right here. Excuse me. Like I said, allergy season. So if we take this way up, any nice road cuts in the national forest, we could definitely stop and check for barrel crystals, and hopefully find some good alternative spots on the way up. That would be my preference. As we zoom out here, we can see the other route spends less time in the national forest and less time in that geological formation. I would prefer to go up the other route, and therefore that's another reason why we are taking the truck, so that if there is any off-road conditions, we can deal with that. If we click this purple formation here, you can see that we're mostly in quartz here, and we have all of the formation information as well. So this really kind of informs my route plan, and that's important. The next step is we're going to be downloading this whole stuff to my phone so that we can use it offline. There's definitely not cellular reception out there. So to the north of it, we have some additional places to possibly go and visit. We can take this green path that I've already laid out and head up towards Kalispell Peak. So you can also see here that a lot of this is timber company land. Obviously, you want to do your own research and due diligence to make sure that you can dig, access things, stuff like that. We're not really going to get into that in this video. We've covered it before in a number of other videos. But we're going to also turn on our formation layer here. And we can see this green, which is probably going to be that granodiorite. And we can see that this doesn't really go through it. It kind of goes through it some, that Phillips Lake granodiorite. But we do have some areas here that do hold some promise. So I think this is certainly a plausible thing that we could do today. Another alternative here, which is something that I have already laid out, is right off of Highway 20. You can see the Penderay River here, so it wouldn't be impossible to access at all. And we are definitely in the National Forest here. I can't pronounce that. Kennesque National Forest. Well, what we have here is an old magnesite mine. Sorry, that's my cat. We have an old magnesite mine, and it just happens to be called Jared. So we've already plotted this thing out some, and we're going to switch over to satellite, and we can check this thing out some, which will be good. So here we can actually see that this is kind of an old mined out area that could be fun to explore. So this is another alternative if the barrel locations don't work out. That said, we do have some additional alternatives and contingencies, and we will be bringing our books with us, along with the capability of being able to go download these maps offline, and we should be golden. All that's left to do is do some vehicle prep, do some gear prep, and do some food prep, and I'll show you that now. So here is the stuff kind of laid out for the trip. We have a cooler here. This is all cases with different camera equipment, like the GoPro, the drone, my camera stuff. This bin here is something that we've covered on the website. There's a whole article about the type of gear that we have. The GeoPic, bringing a 1/4-inch screen, just because we might be screening some of that loose, sloughed off material that's kind of degraded over time, that broken granodiorite and quartz with mica and all of the stuff, hopefully being able to find some barrel crystals. We have the books to back up our alternative routes. 2 of the little 2-gallon buckets. I have some peanut butter jars here as well to be able to keep stuff organized and our material kind of separated out, if we go to different spots. My backpack, Sarah's backpack, and this thing here. Say hello. she doesn't want to. So yeah, that's kind of all of the gear that we are going to be bringing for this day trip. All that's left is to do some checks on the vehicle and then load all this stuff up. All right, please forgive the road noise. I live off of a slightly busy road out here. This is my F-150, and this is what we'll be taking. This is kind of my setup in here. I've removed the back seat and built this elevated platform for the dog. Obviously, myself and Sarah ride up high. The dog, we have our cooler and stuff. Underneath the platform here, we have a big old space, and this is where I store a lot of our gear and equipment, so it's out of sight, and the dog has her own separate little area. So here is the bed of the truck. Since we're going someplace in the middle of nowhere, back here I have a couple of traction mats. If you don't know what these are, you can look it up on the YouTube, but they can unstick a vehicle quite well. In this box, we have everything needed to self-recover. I have all the tools to do everything you'd ever want to do on the truck. We got air tools, straps, plug kits. What's down there? We got another ratchet set, we got a hitch, we got cables, we got all the things to do all the fixes on this vehicle here. So we're pretty close to being ready to go here. I'm going to check the air pressure, I'm going to check some fluids, we're going to load up, and we should be golden. So back here is Colville National Forest. This was actually the farthest point that we made it last time when we came up here. There's like a ton of snow, and you could see that it was rutted, and it was just, we weren't making it up. You know, it was only going to get worse as we get higher. So we pulled over, and I threw the GoPro on the hood of the vehicle so that, you know, if there's anything cool on the drive up, well, it's captured. So, you know, I set it into the hyperlapse mode so you can kind of get these smooth drives up here, and it's pretty good. Don't know if you heard that, but that was our dog hacking. Yeah, so let me show you that, and then we're gonna start driving on up to the Winchester Creek spot. We are heading up the blue route, like I said, so I think this is opposite from what the books may tell people, but this is going through the similar formation, so I'm hoping to find some additional sloughed off areas to check out. Got the GoPro up here, all set up and running in hyperlapse mode, so let's do this. So we just made it up here to the site, and this is probably the time where I would get some B-roll footage. If it wasn't super windy, I would send the drone up, get some aerials, some stuff like that. Also, you can kind of see Sarah back there. It's nice to pick up a couple of samples before even filming, so that I have some things to share and show for face into the one. Share and show for starting the video. But I'm going to show you kind of the spot, and then we're going to end up starting the video. So that will be kind of the completion of the behind the scenes aspects until I'm done. So yeah, let me show you this real quick. So yeah, here's this Winchester Creek spot, and this is kind of I did my little surveying going up the road and showing that, and I can then explain that at the start of the video. And we're going to try to find one or two little pieces of barrel up here before kind of delving into the subject at the beginning of the video. So after spending a little bit of time at Winchester Creek and not really finding much of anything except this piece that I found in the road, we're now driving down the road and into the national forest to look at other exposures of the granodiorite, hopefully able to find some more beryl. That's just kind of the way it goes when you're making these videos. It's like, it doesn't go smoothly, you know? I mean, right now we have some high winds, it's been raining, and that's just the way it goes. So we're going to continue all the way back to where I showed you, where we were down at the start of this, and I put the camera on the truck. So I'm going to keep on going and maybe be able to get a couple more shots, pick up a couple of more pieces before I can be like, well, let's head back to the shop and look at it. Well, we have a little bit of a problem here. The road, all this tree came down between the time we drove up and, well, coming down. See how heavy this thing is? I might drag that out with my strap. I mean, I could drive over this with my truck, but that's not bad. I do think I might pull this down. We got a leader up there. Well, we are back to where we started this whole behind the scenes thing, back here at that that sign right there. So yeah, I hope that kind of maybe gives you a little bit of an insight as to what it actually requires to go out and make a 10 to 15 minute exploration video. Yeah, thanks for coming by, being part of the first 10,000 people to have joined my channel. It means so much to me that y'all like what I do here. I think it's has value, and you know, I hope to bring another 10,000 people on board. So, thank you so much. Thank you so much for watching my entire video. If you like the content that I'm producing here on this channel and you want to support the content even further, you can do so by becoming a channel member by hitting the join button down below. The membership comes with a growing library of exclusive videos and just great other extra content. So just follow the links down below and I will see you on the next video.